D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So last night I got home and I watched Superman and Lois, and I have to say that I actually really did enjoy this episode. I thought it was really good, and we're going to break it down and get into it. But before I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithms, and small channels like myself usually get pushed to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So we're going to dive right into this in just a second, but I just want to say that like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. There were lots of things that I liked about it. I loved that, I really like that. I like that Clark and his youngest son are so different and everything, and they play with that. I really like that a lot. And it's interesting that he got the powers, which we'll talk about as we go along, because his youngest son kind of annoys me a lot and everything. But I do like that that Jordan was like very into the Kryptonian past and his heritage. That's what this episode was called. Um, and I liked seeing them, together, and I like seeing him get excited and. We learned some things like he's named after Jor-El, and I kind of like that. And because then both of his sons are named after his fathers, his Kryptonian father and his human father. I thought that was super fun. And then I like General Lane in there, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in there. I like how he's like this kind of like overseer of Superman, like he's just kind of giving him like information and stuff. It's very cool to see that whole dynamic going on there. I thought the music was pretty good in this episode. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure how I feel about Morgan Edge's character, but we'll see how that goes on. A small piece of me. I'm plus I don't know how I feel about the actor that plays him, but we'll see. We'll see. And his little minion is kind of I don't like his little minion as of yet. I did like the action in this episode and in the last episode. I like the action. They're obviously spending money for visual effects on this show, and I personally appreciate it, and you can tell, and it's very good, and I love it. And like I said, the music was pretty good. um and I think that I love that Lois was not just, just a stay-at-home kind of mom, because that they of course they wouldn't sideline Lois like that. But I do like how she kind of like stepped up and still did her reporter stuff, even though she was in a small town and she like uprooted her life and everything. I really like that a lot. And then and I'll talk about it a little bit later on as we go through this episode, but one thing that I really liked a lot was the bond between the twins, Jordan and Jonathan. Me personally, I'm a twin and I have a twin brother, and we're identical though. And to see that, it was super great, and I loved it, and I love seeing how they work together. And we'll talk about that again in just a little bit more later on when we go into this. But I did enjoy seeing their bond and and all that stuff. So it really did make me happy that they didn't just have them at odds the entire time, like, oh, you got powers, I don't have powers, I'm mad about it. No. All right, so let's dive into this episode. So the first thing we start off with is we start in Metropolis, and they're in their brownstone and everything, and they're moving, and Lois is doing this whole spiel about moving from a place that you've known all your life and everything, and then they move out to Smallville, and they're moving in, and Clark is up on the roof and he flies down, and the twins are just standing there watching him and everything, like all like, oh my God, I can't believe this is going on. Our dad is Superman kind of thing. And, and Lois and Clark are kissing and everything. And Jonathan is throwing a football around, and they're just having their life. And Jonathan doesn't get the playbook for his new football team, the Smallville, football team. I don't know what their mascot is. And they're chit chatting, and Lois is, talking about how, Morgan Edge, how that whole thing, and she doesn't think that everything's cool. And then they're talking to their son Jordan, and they're all like, you can't go to school because you have powers. We don't know how this is going to affect everything. And, we don't know exactly what this is. And you know what? Jordan is really such a whiny little bitch in this show. He really annoys me a lot when he's all like, fine, I'll just be a freak like normal. And it's like, oh, grow up. You're such a whiny little tool. Like, okay, I got it. You want the powers. You don't want to be a big weirdo, okay? Having a disorder is not being weird, okay? You obviously have some kind of, you know, um, I don't know what the proper word is, but you have a disorder that you have to take pills for. It happens, okay? But stop being a little whiny asshole because you want powers and you might not have them. And then you're like, I don't have powers and everything, which we'll get into a little bit later because he does the same thing a little later on, and it's super freaking annoying. And I like that his brother calls him out for it. Anyways, so he gets upset and everything, and the other brother's all like, I didn't get the playbook and everything, and they're sitting there chit-chatting, wondering if this was the best thing for their family, because they're like, we did this so we could be together as a family. So then Luther, the bad guy, he goes to Moldova, which is a real country, by the way, in Europe. Looked it up and everything, even though I knew it was a real country. But I was just trying to see if there was any like bad guys that were from Moldova. I couldn't find any in the DC universe, but that doesn't mean there isn't. I just couldn't find any because I only did like a quick Google search while I was watching and I was did on my phone. Anyways, so he goes to these bad guys' hideout and they're all firing their thing, and he blasts this little sonic wave and everything. And then he gets the main guy and he's all like, he goes into their vault and he's like, where is it? And everything. He's like, the kryptonite. And he's all like, I don't have it anymore and everything. And then I think he kills it. And then he goes back to his ship and he's like, they didn't have it. And the ship's all like, you need the kryptonite. Your suit is not almost, is almost out of power and everything. And we get to see his face for the first time. And I mean, he's a black Lex Luthor. I don't know if he's Lex Luthor, but he's a black Luthor, which is totally cool. He's from a different Earth, which we'll find out in a little bit. And I don't know how I feel about that whole portion of the program, that he's from a different Earth. I mean, it's fine that they did a black Lex Luthor, but I don't know. But they could pull it out. I will see. So then we go back to the next day where the twins, Jonathan is getting ready to go to school and Jordan's getting ready for staying home. And, Jordan puts on this big, heavy winter coat. Jonathan gets ready. And then he's all like, yeah, you're going with me today. And they fly off. And then Jonathan's all like, he gets to fly with dad. And then Lois is like, yeah, but we have radio and everything. And he goes to school and he's kind of bummed and everything, which is totally understandable. He uprooted his entire life and moved to a place that he doesn't know. People don't like him and everything. Totally understandable. He runs into Sarah, I think, yeah, that's her name, Lana Lang's daughter. And she's like, what are you looking for? And he's like, looking for, the outside class, those little huts that they have. They had those at my school. And I was like, please don't let me have a class in there. So she's walking and then he runs into her boyfriend and the football team. And they're like, we have a quarterback and everything. And they're totally like gunning out for him because of the last episode when he defended his brother. So he's all like, whatever and everything. So then we hop over to Jordan and they go to the Fortress of Solitude. Now I have to say, I don't like the Fortress of Solitude because it was more like just a cave. And I'm all like, okay. I was hoping for more of a fortress, but it's fine. The inside was kind of cool, the cave, and everything. But yeah, and this shot right here kind of reminds me of Snyder's Man of Steel when the caves in there. But so I didn't like the Fortress of Solitude, but it's fine. So he goes in there and he talks to him about the fortress and everything, and he pulls out the little crystal that he got from the ship, and they plug it into the little snow mound, and this hologram pops up and it starts telling him the history of Krypton. And then we go over to Lois and she's looking up and researching Morgan Edge. And she's at this diner and this woman is watching her and everything. And then Lana Lang and her husband show up and they're all like, yeah, Morgan Edge is going to bring jobs to this town. And the mayor shows up and everything. He's like, we're on for tonight. And they're like, what's going on tonight? And she's like, oh, a town council meeting and everything. And she's like, oh, we're having a barbecue tomorrow night. You should come, bring the kids, all that stuff. And she's all like, and she's like got this look like, I'm gonna go to that council meeting, which is very good. This is I like what they're doing with Lois Lane. I love the reporter aspect of it. I love journalism. It's so great. So we hop back over to the Fortress of Solitude, and they are chit chatting, and he's learning more about it, and they find out he learns about how Krypton blew up, and his dad came to Earth, and he's like, wow, I didn't realize that you went through so much. And he's like, yeah, it's a lot to take in 5 minutes. So then he tells him about his namesake, and then he gets to meet the AI/hologram of his grandfather, Jor-El. Now, I have to say, I'm not too impressed by the actor that they picked for Jor-El. They kind of picked a more huskier guy, but whatever. I was thinking maybe they would pick more of an older, whatever, it doesn't matter. So then Jonathan's practicing at home. And Jordan shows up. Pardon me, it's early as of recording this. And Clark is happy of what went down at the Fortress of Solitude. He's really happy about it. And then Lois is all like, "Hey, I gotta go. I'm gonna go to a meeting, a town council meeting." He's all like, "Don't get involved," kind of thing. He's like, "Oh, your dad's coming. He's got a serious face on." So she's like, "I'll take the kids." So then the boys are talking, and Jonathan's all like, "Oh yeah, school," and they're and I love their dynamic because they're not necessarily like they hate each other, which is great. I like seeing the sibling not being a sibling rivalry. It's more like they joke with each other, and yeah, they do get mad at each other like normal people, but they actually do like each other. So he's all like, yeah, school is totally fine without you. I should have done this way before and everything. So they go with Lois to the council meeting, and then General Lane is talking to Clark about the suited guy. And he's like, yeah, I had my guy put a tracker on the ship, so anytime it pops up, we'll know where he is. And he's like, they attacked Moldova crime guys, and we don't know what he was looking for. So Lois and them, they go to the town council meeting. They talk to Sarah, and she sees the woman from the diner. So she's like, do we need to chit chat? And she's like, I'm a reporter from the Smallville Gazette. She's like, anytime you want to print something for the Smallville Gazette, my editor loves you. So she'll just totally just like print anything you write. She's like, oh, gotcha, and everything. So then Morgan Edge shows up to the council meeting. So then back at the house, General Lane is all like, why did you move out here? And he's all like, I did what was best for my family. He's like, you told them, the boys, didn't you, that you're Superman? He's like, I couldn't lie to them anymore. And he's all like, you made a mistake. And he's all like, I did what was right for my family. He's like, I brought them out. I did this to protect them. And he's like, this is going to tear them apart. And that was then he's like, I see it happening. Lois won't say it out loud, but I see it tearing her. This has changed her. And I like not for the better. I'm paraphrasing, but in everything. So then, Morgan Edge is like, do we have any more questions at the town hall meeting? And Lois is like, I have and everything. You said that there's going to be 600 jobs for, what you're proposing, but is that like, and she names the town that he had done this to. And she's like, the wages were lower than you said they would be. The jobs were cut by 50% of what you projected it to be and everything. And he's all like, yeah, we projected wrong, but I took a gamble on that town and I gave them a chance, and that chance didn't turn out. Would you rather me not take a chance on this place? Maybe I need to take my business elsewhere. And the other reporter lady from the Gazette was all like, she's like, it's right. You don't go to the news comes to you, kind of thing. So then Lex Luthor, I'm just going to call him Lex Luthor. He takes his ship and he goes to, I don't know, Sarkovia or whatever. I don't remember what the country was. It's not Sarkovia. That's Marvel. And Clark shows up and he's all like, what do you want? What are you doing? He's like, I have to stop you. You're going to destroy this earth like you did mine. And they start fighting. And he slams on the ground and everything, and his suit's obviously being damaged or whatnot. But then he sends his ship to the big city, and he's all like, "You can save the city, or you can get me. Like you can capture me." So he goes and he rushes to the city and he stops the ship and he sends it out to space and it blows up. And then Clark falls to earth and he lands on the ground and everything. So then we hop over to the high school and Jonathan's all trying to be on the football team. He's like, coach, give me a shot. And the coach is all like, fine, I'll give you a shot. So he goes in and the team totally like messes him up. And he's like, I told you we got a quarterback. So he's all bummed about that. So then back at Smallville, Clark and Lois are chit chatting. He's all like, he knew things, he's, something, yada, yada, yada. They're talking about the bad guy. And then she's talking about Morgan Edge and how she's writing a piece for the Planet. And he's all like, he owns the Planet. He's not going to print that. And she's all like, oh, they'll print it. She's like, something's going on with this guy. And I really liked that they did this with Lois. I'm really glad that they didn't sideline her, that this is also about her and she's doing her journalism thing. I think we get to see Clark and Superman fight, do what he does best. And then we get to see Lois, what she does best. And it's not just a simple, she just and they tappy on the keyboard and voila, she's got a story. No, she had to, you see her researching, you see her asking questions. I love that about this. I love it. So then Jordan comes in and he's talking to his brother and he's like, what's going on? And he's all like, nothing. I just need to learn this playbook and everything. And then they go to leave and he's like, go do your Superman, Superboy stuff, whatever, and everything. And Lois is like, she does the nod, like, I'll talk to him. She's like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, and, she's all like, it's something about you not getting the playbook. And he's like, yeah, I got the playbook now. And now I just need to learn it. So then he leaves and she's like, hey, she's like, I know you uprooted your life to do this, to help your brother. And I really, I know he appreciates that. And it's a really selfless act of you and your girlfriend and your school and your football career and all your friends. Your life was back in Metropolis. And I really appreciate you doing this. And he's all like, you had a life back in Metropolis too, and she's all like, yeah, I know. So back at the Fortress of Solitude, Jor-El tells Clark that Jordan is not special, that he's got this a little bit of the Kryptonian thing going on, but he won't be able to control these powers and they won't be a constant, that they'll just burst out every now and then like they did at that party, that he's not special. And he's all like, well, test him again. He's all like, there's no need. He's not special. Jordan hears all this and he's all like, I'm scared. I don't have powers now. And it's like, get the over yourself. Oh, you're such a whiny little asshole. Anyways, so then Lois is on the phone and she's all like talking to the editor or whatnot. And long story short, her story gets changed. Morgan Edge writes a fluff piece about her story, which we'll get into that in just a little bit. Anyway, so Jordan shows up and he's all like, I'm not special. I thought I was special. And he's all like, listen, we'll go back and we'll test it. And then his brother, Jonathan, he calls him out. He's all like, yo, stop being a whiny little bitch. And, he's like, we uprooted this whole thing. We moved here for you to help you out. Stop complaining. And he's like, I am having a horrible time at school, yada, 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 and everything. And Lois is all like, and he's like, man, why don't you guys stay home? And she's like, no. She's like, we moved out here to be a family. We are going to be a family. I like her face here. We are going to be a family. We are going to this barbecue together, no matter what. Get your stuff, get dressed and everything. So they go over to the Langs. They're not called the Langs. I just don't remember what their last name is because she took his name, but she's Lana Lang. And she's all like, hey, he's the master of the grill and everything. And then he's playing air guitar. I don't get the whole air guitar thing when people do that crap. I don't understand it when people just grab a random object and they're all like, and everything. I don't understand it, but whatever. Do you, boo-boo. So then they're at this thing and the boys go in and they talk to Sarah, and then Jonathan's like, how can you date that dude that you date? And she's like, he's really nice once you get to know him. And he's all like, I'll bet and everything. And he's all like, and Jordan's all like, I don't understand why he's mad at Jonathan. I'm the one that kissed you. She's like, just give it a couple more days. It'll blow over. And so she's like, why wouldn't your parents allow you to come to school? And he's all like, well, they're just afraid I won't be able to control my disability. And she thinks that he's talking about his anxiety issues and the fact that he has to take pills and all that stuff, but he's talking about his powers, which he's going to get. He's going to get powers. Like, he's going to get the powers. Come on. So then Lana is talking to Papa Lang. I don't remember his name, Daddy Lang. And he's all like, you want to ruin this, but this town, and she's all like, yeah, but she's like, people in these other towns weren't getting paid. And he's like, yeah, I researched them. They wanted to unionize right off the bat. And she's like, they just wanted to get a livable wage. And he's all like, you know, he's like, but then we won't have anything. She's like, so you're saying people shouldn't get paid a wage that they can live on? And he's all like, listen, he's all like, we know a little bit of money is better than no money at all. Now, I have to say, I'm not on his side, but I understand where he's coming from. When you're somebody like myself and you're a blue collar kind of person and you work and you live, hand to mouth sometimes, and you're just living paycheck to paycheck and you're just trying to pay the bills, trying to put food on the table, having no money doesn't help out that situation. And you're just living off your savings, and nobody wants to do that. And for somebody to come in and screw something up that could possibly help you out even just a little bit really can miff you up and everything. So I understand where he's coming from, even though I don't agree with him. I totally get it. And so they have that whole conversation. And then Clark is all like, talking to Lana because she realizes that they changed her story and everything. And then Lex Luthor attacks General Lang at the DOJ. I don't remember. Anyways, so he shows up and he's all like, your dad's calling me. And she's like, go, I'll explain to the kids what's going on. So the soldiers sled, he does his little blasty blast. General Lang's like, everybody get out of here. He shuts down the power. He confronts General Lang, and he's all, or General Lane, I keep saying Lane, and he's all like, listen, you have to help me stop him. You have to help me stop Superman. And he's all like, he's like, you know what he can do and everything. And he hands him this necklace, and on the back it says hell, but it's also 7734. And then Superman shows up and he attacks him and slams him on the ground, rips his head off, and it's just the suit. It's not Lex Luthor inside. No man inside. And then we go back to Lex Luthor is watching the whole thing because he's recording it. And then we go back to Smallville, and they're chit-chatting, and the story of the whole part about this is he's talking to Lana about this story that she's doing, and she's kind of like questioning and everything. And he's all like, listen, he's like, I've never seen a fire in your eyes. I haven't seen a fire in your eyes like today. Like I haven't seen it in a long time. He's like, so you need to follow through with this kind of thing. I mean, that's what he was pretty much saying. So they're chit-chatting and everything. And then Jordan and Jonathan, he's talking to his girlfriend, and he's all like, he's obviously bummed. I mean, look how sad he is there. And I like that he's wearing a Michigan football shirt. I'm from Michigan, so represent. I don't know if they're like if this is taking place in Michigan, but I do like, I noticed it right away, and I appreciated it very much. I should post that on internet. So he's all like, hey, I just want to thank you for moving here. I was being a jerk and not realizing, that you guys sacrificed for me and everything. And I'm not even special anymore, but I appreciate it. And I love you kind of thing. And he's all like, hey, listen, you have powers and I'm going to help you find them. And he's like, that hologram grandfather of ours, he may not want to do it, but I'm going to help you. I love this. Really loved it that they did these two as, twins that love each other. Like I said before, I'm a twin. I love my twin brother. We are like bestie. We're like this. We talk about everything, and, sometimes we fight, but I still love him. And, in this situation, I would totally be the same way. I'd be like, listen, we're going to get your powers up and going. Okay. So then the next day they wake up, and Jordan's and he's like, tells Jordan, he's like, listen, you're going to go to school. He gets him a little alarm button. He's like, you're going to go to school and everything, and we're going to try to work this thing out. And yeah, that's pretty much that and everything. I can't really remember all that he said there. And then Lois goes to the planet, and she walks in there, and she's all like, yeah, I've got a mission. She goes into the meeting that Morgan Edges, and she throws her story down, and she's like, you rewrote me. And he's like, I couldn't have my paper publish anything like that. And she's all like, are you going to publish the real story? And he's like, no, I don't know if she said that, but anyways. And then she sends down an envelope, and he's like, what is that? She's like, it's the best thing I've ever written since you took over this paper. Now she's leaving his little minions all like, he's going to destroy you. And she's all like, I'd like to see him try. So then she leaves and everybody's like, I like this woman right here. She's all like, good for you. Go girl, you go girl, and everything. And then she leaves, quits and everything, which we'll see in a minute. And then Jordan's at school and he's chit chatting with Sarah and everything. And then General Lang sees the necklace that he has from Lex Luthor. And like I said, on the back, it says hell, but he turns it over in 7734, which probably will mean something. Maybe that's his call numbers or whatever from the future. And then Jonathan's playing football and he sees his dad is there and he's like, hey, dad showed up. Yay. And everything. So then Morgan Edge and them, they see the letter. It says, I quit. She goes to the Smallville Gazette and she's all like, hello. And the girl's there and she's like, I'm the editor and the writer and like the janitor and everything. And you're all like, oh, great, great, great. She's like, will you print this piece that I wrote? And she's like, if I print this, you're going to get fired from the planet. And she's like, well, I just quit. And she's like, this is why I love you and everything. You go girl power and everything. So then Lex Luthor is talking to his little computer, which I don't, where is he right now? Like, is he in it kind of looks like a trailer, but I'm all like, we'll see. Maybe it's like a bunker. And he's all like, hey, he's like, I need to build a new suit. And the computer's all like, well, it's going to take some time. And he's like, well, we have time because this Superman hasn't turned yet. And he's like, but he'll turn. And then we get a flashback from his planet and they're fighting some kind of bad guys. They're using rudimentary guns while the bad guys are using their lasers. I'll be very interested to see all this go down. And they're fighting. And then, he turns around and Superman shows up and it's black suit Superman. So freaking cool. I love that they did this. It's like right on the edge of the Snyder cut. So I'm all like, oh man, I bet you they're going to get some, maybe they'll get some backlash because of the Snyder cut, but you know, don't compare because they're doing their own thing and everything. It's fine. And then he like laser blasts the soldiers. Like he's just going through them and, you know, they're firing and everything. And General Lane tackles Lex Luthor and he gets injured and he's like, General Luthor. And he's like, give him hell or, you know, yeah, give him hell or something about hell. And then he dies. And then you see the necklace that he has and then he's got it in his hand. And he turns it over and it says hell. And of course, when General Lane turned it over, it was 7734. I don't know what that means. I didn't look it up, but whatever. Well, maybe I'll look it up and I'll talk about it next time. Well, watch, they'll answer it next episode. And he's all like, you know, and then they do the close up and everything. And that's when he's like, he may not have turned yet, but he will and everything. And then that's where the episode ends. Now, like I said before, I liked this episode. I thought it was very good. I liked the acting was good. I liked everybody's performance, even the Jordan guy who whined a little bit too much for my taste. I loved the twin sibling dynamic. Like I said before, it was great to see not a sibling rivalry, but they loved each other and they wanted to help each other out. I loved the family dynamic. I loved that neither Clark nor Lois knew exactly what to do, but Lois as a mother kind of, you know, knew a little bit more than Clark. And I believe that in the real life, women have mothers have a bond with children that fathers will never have. And that's because of, you know, carrying children in the womb. I believe that 100%. But at the same time, I think that fathers have a different bond with their children that mothers don't have, but it's a little bit different and everything. So I think that and I think that it was good to see Jordan and Clark have such a different personalities. They're so different, but they were trying to figure this out together. And of course, I loved Lois and the whole journalism thing. I loved it. I loved that part so much. I think I loved that more than I liked the whole Superman fighting thing. So I cannot wait for the next episode. This show has brought me hope for the CW because I hate all the other CW shows. The Flash, I'm about to go watch that and see how that is. I hate watch all the other shows. I hate watch them. I don't like any of the other CW shows. They're all terrible. I only watch them because they're comic book shows and I can't not watch them because I'm a big nerd and I just I'm hoping, I hold out hope every season that they're going to get, good again, and they don't. So yeah, that's my whole thing. So tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? What was your favorite part about this episode? You know, what are you looking forward to the next episode? What are you looking forward to coming up this season? And who is your favorite character? All that good stuff. You can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next Superman and Lois review. You guys have a good day. Bye.